Come on, you can do it. Drop an emoji in the chat if you love your kids. Drop those hearts. Ooh, drop those hearts. I know I love my kids. I love my kids. I love all of them. I love the kids I gave birth to. I love the kids I teach. Drop a heart. Drop a heart in the chat if you love your children. Drop a heart in the chat if you love someone else's children. I love the children that I teach. I love the children I gave birth to. I love the children that I have raised as my own, that have just learned from me and grown from my practices, that just listen. My goddaughter, you guys, like literally, she's amazing. She's amazing. I've given her such good game. Some of it I haven't even necessarily followed it myself, but I see the results. I see the results of, you know, her just listening and trusting me and trusting my advice and trusting that I know, how things can go wrong, and allowing me to mentor her and coach her into the life that she wants and deserves and desires. Right? So that's our first step. We're going to drop an emoji in the chat just for our love, our hearts of love, or whatever way you express your love to your children. I want you to find that emoji and drop it in the chat for me. Okay? I love that. I love that. So tonight I want to talk about not holding your children back. Sometimes we think that we're propelling them forward, when in reality, some of our practices and our habits are holding them back, keeping them stagnant, keeping them dependent on us, keeping them in spaces where they aren't able to grow and flourish on their own. I know I've made that mistake. I know I have been the overbearing, over-hovering parent, and my child has definitely let me know, hey, I want to learn and grow and do these things on my own. Like, bag up. Okay, sis. I'll bag up if you need me to, and raising children that are free to be able to express themselves and speak freely when maybe they need to develop boundaries, even with you, is a hard but necessary practice. It is. It is. So now that we have all of our hearts in the chat, I love to see that you all are loving on the children. That is wonderful. Um, I want to talk about 5 of the best ways to put them on your team while simultaneously knocking down some habits that I think we fall very, very comfortable with. Number 1 is autonomy. When you give a child autonomy, you are allowing them to think freely and think within themselves about the decisions that they make. You're allowing them to grow. You're allowing them to fall. You're allowing them to pick themselves back up. When you let your children be little scientists when they're little, right? So a kid is in the kitchen and they might decide they want to pull everything out the refrigerator. They want to drop eggs to see if they break. They want to make noise on pots and pans. These are when our children are little and they're still hungry and thirsty for education and knowledge, and they want to learn and they want to grow. So they don't wait on you. They don't wait on you. They go out and they discover what it is they want to do, right? And they figure out how to make those things work. And then they grow up. And as a teacher for the last few years, one of the things that I notice is that after our children are little and after they get into their scientific phases of experimenting and trying things out, and they're so hungry for knowledge and hungry for education, what happens is that over time, when they get exposed to the world, they get exposed to doubt. They get exposed to people telling them what they can't do. They get exposed to rules. They get exposed to boundaries. And their sense of discovery decreases. It withers. Because how can I make great discoveries when I'm always being told no? You can't do that. Fast forward 20 years, your child is getting ready to go off to college. And what are you telling them? Don't take no for an answer. Don't let anyone stop you. How is that? How are we not taking no for an answer? How are we not letting anyone stop us when everyone's been stopping us for 20 years? 18 years, 15 years of being told, hold on. I know for different communities, women have a different place or a different position that's socially acceptable. We tell girls not to be too loud. It's all suppression. All of these methods, all of these things are keeping our children away from autonomy. And autonomy is how they grow. Autonomy is how they learn. My biological dad, before he passed, he used to say, let those kids be. Let those kids run. And I'm like, but daddy, I don't want them to break the stuff. I don't want them to mess up the thing. No, stop. Wait, don't do that. Yeah. And he said, let them fly. So I think autonomy is the number one thing you can give and offer your children to be able to explore their limits and their boundaries. Right? Number two, you want to produce a good human being. And I think one of the ways to produce a good human being is to be a good human being. I've talked about this before where I'm saying, like, children do what they see. So when they're seeing you talk to people a certain way on the phone, when they're seeing you do this thing or do that thing or whatever, name all the things. You know what's right from wrong. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. I don't have to name all the things, but you want to raise a good human. You want to show them good human characteristics and good human qualities, good human habits consistently. Not just showing them how to be good when it benefits you, because they're already going to be good when it benefits them. But now we want to show them how to be good when there is no benefit. True, born, bred, thorough integrity. What that do? What that integrity do? It allows children to be able to stack up the building blocks for everything else. It allows them to be able to build a great team. Because one day we got to cross over the bridges that we cross back from. We want to build a good team. We want to have people around us that make a good team. So you want to start showing and displaying those characteristics in yourself to your teens or your children or your, babies. Or I just think it can start at such an early beginning if it needs to. I think it should start at an early beginning. I think that my 2-year-old, before he was my 4-year-old, was watching me. So when we keep that at the forefront, I think that we begin to raise good human beings. Now, I always revert back to learning your children's personalities, but we can't get away from the understanding that there are parts of them that personally come from the environment that they're uprooted in. An environment, listen, there could be 6, 7, 8 people in the house, crazy stuff going on, but in an environment, right, you can create that amidst anything. Who they're watching and who they see makes up that environmental piece of learning from what we watch that goes beyond our biological makeup. And biology is important, but environment is everything to producing a good human being. And so when you create that environment for yourself, for your energy, I recently saw this podcast where I was watching Anthony Owens, Table by Anthony Owens. He was talking about how um, his dad would take him to on walks to the pier at the water to have those like really intense conversations. And he told him he wanted him to have this discipline and this understanding of what needed to be said, the serious talk, but also to have peace. So I believe that's a perfect example on how we display being a good human. Because I have to talk to you doesn't mean I have to hit you or yell at you, right? Maybe I yell because maybe I'm frustrated, but I can work really, really hard to let you know that I know that you deserve peace. And then guess what? Guess what, friends? Now our children are only going to surround themselves with people that bring them peace. That's taking us back to producing good human beings. That's taking us back to autonomy and them thinking for themselves, allowing them to build their own structures as it pertains to support systems when they have their kids, as it pertains to business relationships. These are nuggets for life. They really are nuggets for life. So, what's number 3? Teach them how to work for what they want. I know that everybody's income is different, where we're coming from, who we are, what we're about, our thought processes, they're all different. But there's never a time where you cannot create an environment where a child flourishes when they work for what they want. Now, I didn't say work for needs, right? Because we need water and we need to eat. We need clothing. We don't need Gucci, but we need clothing. Maybe we want Gucci. Maybe there's room to work for that. Maybe there's not. Maybe that is not negotiable. But maybe we just want to go to the amusement park with our friends. And maybe that ticket is $20. And what can we do to earn that? Now, if there is genuinely no way to earn it, if your mind says, oh, earning it means I have to get them to do something and then I have to produce the money, and there's no way to do that, then fine, there's no way to do that. But what if there really is a way for your child to open up their mind to be able to produce money for themselves? What if you can support and coach that along? What if it's not money? What if our children are just working to get to something that they would rather have than what they want? Maybe our children just want to sit in the front seat. Maybe they just want to control the music in the car. Maybe. Maybe there's something that can be done in this house so that we can earn our way to doing that. Because the lesson of earning builds great people, even though it's number three and it's totally separate. We're still building great people with this. What habits are we cutting down? So let's go back. With autonomy, we're cutting down control. That's a bad habit. And it's not a bad habit just because, like, oh, control is a bad thing, but it's really a bad habit because how much control do you really have? Do you want to teach your children to be in control of everything? Because no one's in control of everything, right? Do your children belong to you? Or are you just grateful to be chosen? Because in reality, they're their own people. That's where the autonomy piece comes from. When your child is first born, they are so cute and scrumptious and they say nothing. They're at your complete and total, like, there's nothing that they can really do on their own except for the things they can do on their own, right? Crying, eating, pooping. But the truth is that they're so adorable and they're so small and they're helpless and they're wordless. But if that baby came out and said, "Who are you?" I don't know how cute this baby would be anymore, y'all. I just don't know. I just don't know how cute this baby would be if this baby came out with this smart mouth. The smart mouth doesn't come till about, I don't know, pick your poison. 11 years, 12 years, 13 years. When does the smart mouth come? Right? When does the I'm a person and I have an opinion come? Even if it is not disrespectful, it's simply independent. When does it come? When that person comes, you start to like that little cute, cuddly baby a whole lot less. Autonomy. Now, you could teach autonomy on the front end and get ahead of the game by letting children explore, letting them be. Or you can take all that time trying to control and control and control and control just to get to a space where now they want to be in control and you don't know how to let the control go. You create a dependent adult. How do you create an entrepreneur? Autonomy, producing a good person, because they're going to surround themselves with who they want to be and desire to be, and they're always going to go back to where they came from. They're always going to go back to what they learned, those primitive lessons that you gave in the very beginning. They're always going to come back to that. Or there's going to be some sort of realization, mom was right, dad was right, auntie was right, godmama was right. Yeah. And then when we get to number three and they begin to work to earn, it's all going to tie in together. It's all going to make sense. Oh, I'm going to produce. Yeah. Whenever you plant a seed, you produce. You always reap what you sow. What happens when you don't plant the seed? Nothing. Nothing at all is the lesson. So if children don't feel free to express themselves and explore, they eventually get to some place in life where they have to, want to, need to, desire to. If you lay down your control, you set the foundation for them to be receptive to what it is you have to say. Force, it does not work. Force creates resistance. Autonomy creates trust. Being a good human being, being well-rounded, earning what you work for, working to earn. Number 4 is free thinking. Are we able to think freely? Is your child trying to figure out how to solve a particular problem? Have you allowed them the productive struggle to do so? Because let me tell you, if you haven't, then later on, when it's time for them to be given these 2-second directions, ready, set, go, they're going to be stuck because no one's allowed them to think. Similar to autonomy, but different. Are you thinking freely? Are you making decisions freely? Or do you need Joe and Jim to tell you to do it this way? You might use your autonomy and do it this way completely on your own, or venture off into whatever it is. But are you freely thinking about how to solve a problem? Entrepreneurship is solving a problem. What problem does my consumer have? How can I solve it better and faster than anyone else? And I have to be a free thinker to understand that. That's what's going to help me to weed out the imposter syndrome. That's what's going to help me to grow past the thinkers that are not free. What bad habits are we getting rid of with free thinking? Imposter syndrome. That I'm thinking freely. So I'm not worried about what this person is doing, what that person is doing, where they're going, what they think, what they need. Nope. I'm thinking freely for me. I'm going to win. I'm a winner. Because my thoughts and my actions, they're all my own. They're all my own. So that's the beauty in it. That is the absolute beauty in the whole thing, you guys. It really is. It really is. So, what habits do you have? Drop it in the chat for me. What are your habits that are keeping you from raising your children the way that you would like to? What are the things that are stopping you from allowing them to be free thinkers? Are they truly autonomous? Are you raising good people? What's happening? Are you raising good people? How do you know? And so I refuse to define that for anyone. Because only you really know the type of person you want to show your child, but who your child becomes is who they're going to become, all their own. All their own. So once again, we have autonomy, letting your little scientists be free, letting children discover and find out and all those things that allow them to be free thinkers without your input. Producing good human beings, allowing children to work to earn, raising free thinkers from this autonomy. Now that I dropped that egg on the kitchen floor, splat, that's giving me the pieces to start freely thinking about what I've done, not focus on consequences, not yet. What have I done? What has happened? What is the cause and effect? Because I think we try to teach consequences before we try to teach cause and effect. And they might correlate, but there's no causation there. When we're allowing our children to be free in their thinking, when we're showing them how to be good human beings, when we're allowing them to earn something that they're going to spend their entire lives doing, when we lose our control, lose those bad habits, I bet you find yourself in way more situations where you are not in control than where you are in control. Traffic, for example. All you can do is be the driver, in the driver's seat, controlling your vehicle. Oh, how great it would be if we could reach into another person's driver's side and put them in the right lane, make them use their turn signal, stop them at the red light, stop them for a whole 3 seconds at the stop sign. I don't know. I know St. Louis got the rolling stop. In Chicago, it's 3 seconds. I don't know how many people I've seen, even in the last year, actually stop at a stop sign for a whole 3 seconds. But that is the law. How wonderful will it be if we could just control? How exhausting would it be if we could just control? The things that I have to control, they exhaust me. Yeah, that's why everything on autopilot. Yeah, I have a content planner now, y'all. I'm coming up in the world. I'm like, I need these things to just automatically post. What if technology fails me and something does not post? What am I going to do? I'm not going to tear down my whole business. No. I'm going to be okay with the fact that my control is not real. I'm going to let nature do whatever it needs to do because things happen the way they should. Children come out the way that they should. They grow up the way that they should. They become the people that they're supposed to be. Are you loving them unconditionally, or is it under the condition that they do what you say? If that baby came out, wah, who are you? Whoa, this baby is not cute anymore. Like, would you be okay with that? Would you still take this baby home? I don't know if I'm taking home a talking baby, y'all. I don't know if I'm doing that. But we love and coddle and get close to the things that we can control. Some of y'all with people because y'all can control them. Autonomy feeds the world. Freedom is a beautiful thing. It's okay to guide. It's okay to create a rule. It's even okay to create a routine. But how do you get them to buy in? How do you get them to buy in? How do you get them to say, okay, this routine is good for me. This works for me. You include them. When me and my kids sit down and we have our Sunday meetings, I was talking about Sunday meetings weeks ago. When we're sitting down and we're talking about our Sunday meetings, I am not doing all the talking. As a matter of fact, I don't even start the meeting. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that I don't even start the meeting? My daughter starts the meeting. She comes with her notepad. She loves these little gel pens, and she's ready because she cannot wait to tell me what I need to be doing and where my position is that's going to help her best. Because that's what it's for. I want to help you be better. Get out the door on time. Get to school on time. To be quite honest with you, I have to be at work long after my kids are already in their first class. So take your time. But you got goals. You got goals. You set goals. Why do you set goals? Because you see me setting goals. And you see me accomplishing goals. And you see me slack and fall off and not accomplish my goals. And you've seen how that's affected my life. So I'm allowing you to see my wins. I'm allowing you to see my loses. When they see it all, they can be it all. They can understand it all. The same way I can guide my goddaughter in ways that I probably at the time had not taken the steps that I was advising her on first. I definitely knew the consequences of having not had taken those steps. So I was able to tell her, oh no, stay on top of your credit. This is how you do it. This is what you don't do. It's okay. Sometimes we feel like because we're at some sort of a default disadvantage or we're in some sort of a disposition that we can't teach. All teachers teach from their own vantage point. Some of us are not good at math, teaching math. But when you're able to connect with your students and say, listen, I get it. It's a struggle for you. It's a struggle for me too. Let me show you how I got through this. Let me show you how I prepped to even be able to teach you. Let me show you these videos I watched. This person that I talked to. This person I follow on TikTok that gives me math hacks. Because TikTok, honey, is becoming the education source. I am learning all things. So thank you for dropping your emojis in the chat. It's beautiful to see how much you all love your children. It's beautiful to see how much you love yourselves just sitting here and listening to me talk to you from the grace of my heart and just really wanted to put something on your mind to think about when you're in parenting. I feel like we're growing a person. We're not building a person. We're growing a person. We planted the seed. There's a little bit of water, but the sun does the rest. The sun does the rest. Do you control the sun? You do not. You may think you do, but you don't. And there'll never be a bank account big enough or mouth loud enough to control the sun. or a person brave enough to be more important than the ocean. You are not. And therefore, when you raise your children, you get them to buy into the idea of where you're going by showing that you are not perfect, showing them your intentions for them and for yourself. It's been beautiful. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.